We just came to the museum to learn about the this morning.
Oh, it's better than what I thought it was going to be. It's even better. Oh, it's delicious.
Here we go. How important is this voting block for you and your campaign?
It's hugely important. I think there's no reason why the Hispanic community wouldn't resonate to the message that we have, because it's really about reinvigorating the economy. We want all Americans to have a chance to increase their prosperity in this country, to do better for themselves and their kids. That's my background. I get and understand the economy. I know what the problem is, but even better, I know the solution. I know how to get the economy back on track. My husband and I started our own company. What we know not to do is what President Obama is doing. That's wasting literally trillions of dollars on failed projects. Instead, the government has to spend less money. We've got to lower the taxes on job creators. Cuban Americans are great job creators. They know how to do it, and they're great workers as well. Plus, we also need to make sure that we don't hurt people through Obamacare, and also making sure that Medicare is solvent and that Social Security is solvent. We can turn these things around. The great news is these are very solvable problems. We can solve them if we work together. But also we need to remember, I think Cuban Americans are people of faith. They love their family, and they also love freedom in this country. And that's my background. I'm a very strong woman of faith. I believe in family. We've raised 23 foster children and 5 biological kids. We really believe in the foundation of family, but we also believe in freedom. And in America, we're losing it. And I want to stand for it. And I want to stand for American energy production. Speaking
of Cuban Americans, have you spoken to Senator Marco Rubio? And would he be your top choice for you to win the nomination?
I have spoken with Marco Rubio. And as always, I observe discretion and privacy when we have conversations with each other. But everything that Marco stands for is the American dream, and allowing anyone to realize the American dream. That's my background too. I came from a background where my family was below poverty, but we had a chance to work and to be able to do better for ourselves and our kids. That's really the American story. And I want to have someone like a Marco Rubio be in that position as a vice president, someone who's lived the dream, who understands the dream, but even more importantly, someone who will fight for that dream. Because I benefited from that dream. That's why I want to be president of the United States, because my goal is to make Barack Obama a one-term president.
Now, let's talk about the race. Governor Perry just got in. That changed the dynamic of the race. It's actually, I think, helps your campaign, because I think votes are being taken on his end, taken from Governor Romney. Now, the other wild card is Governor Palin. I know you're very friendly with Governor Palin. Have you spoken to her about maybe perhaps getting in the race?
Well, you know, I love Governor Palin. She and I have been friends for a long time, and I think there's plenty of room in the race. And so I welcome anyone who wants to come in, because we really need to have a vigorous debate about how we turn the economy around. And that's why I offered my candidacy. So I welcome everyone to come in. I think it's good for the American people to take a look at all of the candidates. And I think when they see what I have to offer, and the fact that for over 4 years now, I've been fighting every one of these battles in Washington, D.C. People see in me a champion for their values, their voice, their principles. And I have a proven record of standing up for what people believe in Washington, even if it means taking on my own party. And that's what we need, someone who will put principle above party. I'm a proud Republican, but I think we've got to stand for our principles, and I've got those core principles.
Now, taking a turn to Middle East foreign policy, last night, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman-Schultz, I know she's a very close friend of yours, and she stood for Israel. She says she stands for Israel, but she hasn't really addressed the fact that she backed Governor Obama's play on pushing back the Israeli borders back to 1967. Can you speak to that?
Well, I will tell you this. As President of the United States, I will stand with Israel. I would never call on Israel to retreat to their indefensible 1967 borders. That's inviting trouble, and I think that's what President Obama has done in his speech in May, is weaken the defenses that Israel has. The United States has always had Israel's back. Now the world isn't so sure. That's increased the hostilities. That doesn't help anyone when that happens. I will stand with our ally Israel, but I was also stand up against our enemies, like a nuclearized Iran or a nuclearized Syria or a nuclearized Sudan or Cuba that continues to be a threat against the United States. And now Chavez is talking about hosting missile sites in Venezuela that could be used against the United States. This is what we need in a president. I sit on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. I'm briefed regularly on the classified secrets in the United States. I understand my #1 job will be as Commander-in-Chief, and I will seek the security and safety of the American people, and I will stand with our men and women in uniform and make sure that they have all the resources they need to keep us safe. You mentioned a nuclearized Iran. Can you comment about your opponent, Congressman Paul's statement that he doesn't have a problem with Iran having nuclear weapons? Well, I completely disagree with that position, because just this last week we heard President Ahmadinejad from Iran say that Israel needs to be eradicated off the face of the earth. He made the first comment in 2005 that Israel needed to be wiped off the face of the map. So I called on President Obama last week to prohibit the president of Iran to even come into the United States in a couple weeks from now and address the UN. Why would we allow a genocidal madman to step one toe in the United States? I would not allow that if I was President of the United States.